The full moon hung high above the dense forest, its silver glow spilling through the jagged treetops, casting ghostly shadows over the pack's gathering ground. The wolves circled nervously, their breaths fogging in the crisp night air, ears twitching at every snap of a twig. Tonight was not a celebration. It was a reckoning. Amura's heart pounded in her chest as she stepped onto the rocky clearing. Her dark hair whipped around her face in the cold wind, and her eyes, so calm yet distant, reflected the moonlight. She had come tonight not to challenge the Alpha, but to confront the truth she had carried for months. Alpha Kalen, the towering figure at the center of the clearing, radiated power. His muscles coiled under his fur, eyes blazing gold, with an intensity that could ignite fear in even the bravest of pack members. Every wolf in the territory could feel the tension emanating from him, like electricity in a storm. Amura's voice was soft but firm. "Kalen, I accept your decision." The words hit him like a blade. Silence fell over the pack. Every wolf froze, sensing the fragility of the moment. Kalen had expected anger, tears, perhaps even defiance, but not this calm resignation. Amura turned her back to him, her cloak swirling around her as she stepped toward the shadows at the edge of the clearing. Her posture was regal, almost like a queen retreating from a throne she would never claim. Kalen's fury ignited, a low growl rumbling in his chest. The Alpha King's rage was legendary, the stuff of pack lore told around countless campfires, but nothing had prepared anyone for the storm that now threatened to break over them. "Amura," he bellowed, his voice slicing through the night. The wolves trembled at the raw power behind it. "You cannot walk away from me." She did not turn, she did not flinch. The calm in her defiance only fed his rage further. The wind seemed to howl in unison with Kalen's roar, shaking the trees. Wolves scattered instinctively, their instincts screaming that the pack's balance was on the brink of collapse. Even the elders whispered prayers under their breaths, fearing the consequences of the Alpha King's wrath. Kalen stepped forward, claws digging into the earth, his golden eyes fixed on her retreating form. Every muscle in his body screamed to chase her, to claim what he had denied in words but never in heart. But pride, raw and unyielding, kept him frozen for a heartbeat too long. Amura's mind was racing, but her face betrayed none of the turmoil inside. She had loved him, yes, but she had learned that love was not always about possession. Sometimes it was about letting go, even when the cost was the fiercest wolf in the realm. From the shadows, a lone raven croaked, as if echoing the tension in the air. It was a small sound, but it felt monumental, like a herald of the chaos that was about to unravel. Kalen's fists clenched, white knuckles pressing against the fur on his hands. The full moon seemed to pulse with the beat of his anger, casting his shadow across the clearing like a weapon. And yet, for the first time, he hesitated not because he doubted her, but because the depth of his own desire and regret had caught him off guard. The pack watched, hearts in throats, as Alpha Kalen, the unstoppable force, faced the immovable calm of Amura. And in that moment, the air itself seemed to vibrate with a promise. This night was only the beginning. The forest trembled under the echoes of Kalen's fury. Each step he took sent vibrations through the soil, each growl a promise of reckoning. The wolves scattered, instinctively sensing that the Alpha King was no longer just a leader. He was a storm unleashed. Amura moved swiftly through the shadows, her senses sharp, every leaf and branch speaking to her like whispers of warning. She could feel his presence before she heard it, the heat of his anger pressing against her back, the pounding rhythm of his heartbeat syncing with the thrum of the forest. Kalen's wolf form emerged from the shadows, massive and terrifying, fur bristling like a crown of fire. His golden eyes locked on hers with a ferocity that made even the oldest warriors of the pack shiver. "You will not escape me," he growled, claws slicing through the underbrush, sending sprays of mud and leaves into the air. "You are mine, Amura." She didn't respond, didn't falter. Instead, she pressed on, weaving through ancient oaks and over gnarled roots, her mind a whirl of strategy. She knew the forest better than most, she had to. If she was to survive the storm that was Kalen, The chase was relentless. Wolves in the pack followed at a distance, torn between loyalty to their alpha and the respect they held for Amara's courage. The moon above illuminated the scene like a cinematic tableau. The Alpha King, a force of raw power, hunting the woman who had dared to refuse him. Suddenly, she vaulted over a fallen tree and landed in a small clearing. Her breath came in short, controlled bursts. She knew Kaelin would corner her soon, yet deep in her chest a strange thrill stirred. This was more than fear. It was a magnetic pull, a dangerous dance between desire and defiance. Kaelin emerged seconds later, his wolf form massive and unyielding. He circled her, each movement predatory, yet mesmerizing in its intensity. The air between them sizzled. Every growl, every snap of his jaws seemed to echo not just anger but longing, a longing he had tried to bury with his pride. "You could have had everything," he said, voice low, almost pained now. "All of this, all of me, yours." Amara's head tilted slightly, her gaze steady. "I wanted all of you, Kaelin, but not like this, not through fear, not through possession. I won't be hunted to prove your desire." Her words struck him harder than any physical blow. The forest seemed to still around them, the wind dying down, leaves hanging in suspense. The Alpha's rage clashed with something he had never admitted even to himself. Admiration, respect, and yes, love for the woman who dared to stand against him. Kaelin's chest heaved as he slowed, the fire in his eyes tempered by a flicker of uncertainty. The hunt wasn't over, but something had shifted. He realized that to claim her heart, he couldn't rely on anger alone. He would have to fight for it, and not as a tyrant, but as someone who could be vulnerable, someone who could risk losing. Amara, sensing the pause, allowed herself a moment to breathe. She had survived the first storm, but the real tempest was yet to come. The Alpha King's wrath was far from spent, and the forest itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the next move in this dangerous, magnetic game of power, pride, and forbidden desire. The forest was silent except for the distant rustle of leaves and the occasional snap of a branch under Kaelin's heavy steps. The full moon hung like a sentinel above, bathing the clearing in silver light, casting everything into sharp contrast. The shadows deeper, the light harsher. Amara's breath came faster now, but not from fear alone. There was a strange pull between them, magnetic and dangerous, that made her pulse race and her senses sharpen. She had faced his rage, outmaneuvered it, yet the raw intensity in Kaelin's gaze made her knees tremble despite herself. Kaelin emerged from the shadows once more, but this time he did not charge. His golden eyes, blazing with fury a heartbeat ago, now shimmered with something else, a hunger, a need that terrified even him. He stopped a few paces from her, nostrils flaring as he inhaled her scent, his wolf instincts warring with the human heart he tried to suppress. "You think you can walk away from me," he said, voice low, almost a growl, vibrating through the night air. "You've seen my anger, but you've not yet seen what I desire." Amara's lips pressed into a thin line. She was defiant, yes, but curiosity and something deeper flickered in her chest. "Desire isn't yours to take, Kaelin. You cannot demand a heart that refuses to bend." His eyes narrowed, the tension in his broad shoulders coiling like a spring ready to snap. Then, slowly, deliberately, he stepped closer. The ground seemed to shake under him, not with threat, but with the sheer weight of presence, of an alpha who had never known what it meant to truly want someone until now. "Then I will show you," he whispered almost to himself. "I will show you that even the fiercest heart can be tamed by the one it cannot resist." Amara's breath caught. The words were no longer threats. They were confessions, raw and vulnerable, impossible to ignore. Her pulse raced as the magnetic pull between them grew stronger, almost tangible, like the storm that always seemed to follow Kaelin's emotions. Suddenly, the wind shifted. Leaves swirled around them, the forest alive with the tension of predator and prey, of hunter and hunted. But this was no ordinary hunt. It was a battle of wills, of hearts locked in a dance neither had fully understood until this very moment. Kaelin dropped to one knee, his wolf form towering over her. Yet the dominance was tempered with a reverence that startled her. I cannot live without you near me, Amara, he admitted, voice rough with restraint. Not as a packmate, not as a friend, as the one who holds every part of my being. Amara's hands trembled. She had always known he was powerful, dangerous, irresistible. But now she saw the man beneath the alpha mask, the one vulnerable to the pull of love, desire, and longing. For the first time, she wondered, was it rage that drew him to her? Or something far deeper, far more consuming? The air between them crackled. Moonlight danced across their faces, highlighting the tension, the fear, the desire. For a moment, the forest seemed suspended in time, watching, waiting. Two hearts, stubborn and proud, stood mere feet apart, teetering on the edge of surrender. Kalen leaned in just slightly, his voice dropping to a whisper meant only for her. I will have you, Amara, whether by storm or by fire. I will claim the heart I was foolish enough to try to deny. Amara's eyes met his, calm yet wild, and for the first time, she felt the thrill of surrender. Not to fear, not to anger, but to the undeniable force of the Alpha King's love. The night was far from over, but something inside them had shifted forever. The hunt had begun, and so had a passion that neither pride nor power could resist.